Hello, Lollie. How are you?
I'm well, Rainy. How's it going?
Good. Welcome to my podcast studio.
It is so fabulous to be here. Friends, welcome to the very first revamp episode that we've ever done in almost 2 years.
We're going back to episode 13.
This revamp episode was kind of left open-ended. We've had a resolution. We've learned a lot over the last couple of years. So we're going to take this episode. We are literally giving it a revamp. So we've tightened it up, put all those fun sound effects in there that Furzy does so well, and we've added the resolution. So we really hope you enjoy today's episode, the revamp, the resolution of the family hitman, the Adelson case. Woo! Let's go.
Let's go.
July 18th, 2014. This was a beautiful sunny day in Tallahassee, Florida, United States. We've got Dan Markel busily rushing through his morning, getting ready for the day ahead. You see, Dan is recently divorced. He's been going through a pretty messy custody battle, and this is his week on with his 2 young boys. So as you can imagine, solo parenting, it is challenging. It's a crazy morning. He's getting the kids ready. He scoops them up, puts them in the car, and he heads to their daycare. Now he drops off his 2 sons, and then Dan makes his way to the gym for a little morning sweat session. What a great way to start the day.
Just sweat it out.
That's it. Get your pump on. Dan works out for about an hour and then he begins to head home. And Dan is just feeling a little annoyed about a particular thing that's happened this week. So he needs to ring his buddy Stu to stew about it. And so he's rung Stuart, and he's discussing with him the school that his ex-wife Wendi has decided to enroll the boys into. He's just feeling like,
I don't really know if this is a good school. I'm a little annoyed Wendy's going above my head in doing this.
He needs to calm down, and Stu's the guy to calm him down. So they're having a chat. He's driving home. He pulls into the driveway. Dan looks into his rearview mirror, and he's shocked to see a car pull up behind him. So he says to Stu,
Hey buddy, just wait there. Someone just pulled up behind me. I don't recognize who it is.
So Stuart's waiting there patiently, and then all of a sudden, Stu hears 2 loud bangs. He doesn't really know what it is. It doesn't sound good. So he's calling out to Dan.
Dan, what's going on? Danny, are you there? Danny?
He listens in. All he can hear is heavy breathing.
Oh, Lord.
And then silence. He hangs up the phone and he calls Dan back. It goes straight to voicemail. He sends a couple of text messages to Dan and no response. So at the same time as this is happening, Dan's neighbour, James, also heard these 2 loud bangs. He peers out his window and he sees a car reversing down Dan's driveway and speeds off pretty quickly. There's been a few burglaries in the area, so James, being the good neighbour that he is, decides to go check it out. James is in his 70s. Is he a nosy neighbour? I think this is the kind of nosy neighbour we want. So James walks over. He notices Dan's car idling in the garage.
Oh, the garage again.
We're in America, so we're going to go with the garage. And he thinks,
Oh, Danny obviously was just leaving.
Yeah.
He obviously made the noise. Everything's fine.
he heads back. Now, Dan and James's house is separated by a driveway. Being the good, nosy neighbour that he is, he's just looking out the window, make sure Danny leaves, everything's fine. But Danny never leaves, and he just has this sinking feeling that something is not right. So James makes his way over once again. He's heading towards the car. He can see Danny in the car, and as he approaches, he begins to hear the crunching of broken glass underneath his shoes.
Oh.
He looks a little closer. The window has been busted out, and as he peers in, he can see Danny with his head drooped down, covered in blood. Now, Danny is slightly making this side-to-side motion.
Oh, Danny's alive.
But he's not responding to James. James is yelling out,
Danny, can you hear me? What's going on? What's happened?
He's in a panic. James reaches for his phone. He's left it in the living room, so he runs back to his house and he calls 911. And this is how the call went.
911, what's the address of your emergency, Caston? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
We heard and looked in, the garage door was up, and I thought the gentleman was backing out, and I went back to my house, but he never backed out, and I came back over, and his driver's side window is shattered, and he's battered and can't answer. He's inside. I don't know if somebody tried to shoot him or if he shot himself or what. I don't know. He didn't send an ambulance in a hurry. An EMT. He's still alive. He's moving.
Okay, what's going on with him?
I don't know. The driver's side window is all bashed in, and he's got blood all over his head. He's not responding to me.
Damn. Oh, shit. So as we've heard, James has called 911. He is needing an ambulance. This idiot on the other line deprioritizes the call.
What?
It takes 20 minutes for an ambulance to arrive because he put it on basically like a low-level emergency. I don't know how, which is absolutely insane. You can imagine James is waiting there in a panic, 20 minutes.
Where the fuck is Stuart?
Stuart lives in friggin' New York, all right? Stu's gone. Yeah. So the ambulance comes. They take Dan away to the hospital, and this is absolutely shocking. Police are on the scene. This is a crime scene now. The yellow tape goes up. The roads are blocked. Police begin to investigate who is Dan Markel, who is his next of kin. Where do we start? Why is he sitting in his car with 2 bullets to the head?
Ooh,
yeah.
to the head. That's not a good day.
It's not. It's a horrendous, horrendous day. They managed to track down Dan's ex-wife, Wendi Adelson. Now, Wendi Adelson was actually at the time having lunch with some girlfriends at a restaurant. So they go and collect Wendi, and she sits very quietly in the back seat as they escort her to the police station for an interview. And we're going to have a little listen to that interview. We're going to listen to this whole thing, all right? So strap in.
I am here for it.
There was a shooting at your home or your ex-husband's home at 2116 Trescott. Okay. Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I don't understand. I'm sorry, Hon. I know that's a tremendous party. What happened?
Well, before we get into everything, I have to establish where you were and who you were with and so forth.
Okay.
Okay, and then once we've established all that, I can give you more details.
Okay.
Do you understand why I wanted you to come here before I discuss this?
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, you have nothing to be sorry about.
I just don't understand. How did this really happen?
Okay, so obviously very upset. What's your initial thoughts on that?
Well, she looks upset.
Yeah,
She sounds upset.
she is upset.
Yeah.
That was Wendi being told, obviously, for the first time about what's happened. And I want to just go into a little bit about who is Dan, who is Wendi. So Dan Markel he's a 41-year-old law professor, lawyer. He is super, uber, duper, duper smart.
Just super uber or duper.
I mean, that
All three.
As you can tell, I'm not that smart because none of that even made sense. His friends have described him as being overly confident in his intelligence, uses super big words, can come across a bit condescending, arrogant. So as you can imagine, you and I in his presence probably wouldn't go down too well. I'm kidding. We're super smart. We're super uber duper smart. Yeah, Dan was, look, he was a really great guy. He worked really hard. He was very, very goal-driven. He always wanted to go to Harvard, and he went. He grew up in Toronto, Canada, moved to the States, and he just was super successful in everything that he did in life. The one thing that was really missing in his great success story was a woman, and he met Wendi Adelson, and these two hit it off. They really were a match made in heaven. They actually met on a online dating platform called JDate.
Wow, another one I haven't heard of.
I know. So look, I did a little Googling, of course, and JDate is for Jewish singles looking for love.
Wow.
And this takes me to Come Back to the Crime! Wow.
Take me there.
Rainy, there is online dating platforms out there for everyone.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one for my cat.
Wow. There is actually a online dating site for cat people.
Really? I mean, I don't think I want to go hang out with some cat people.
No, I'm not. It's called like
crazycatlady.com.
It's like Perfect Lovers or something. It's personals. Rainy, there is the gluten-free singles online dating website.
Wow.
There is the Star Wars dating website. There's actually one called Ugly Schmucks. Yeah. Which is obviously...
I mean, guys, there's no excuse.
There's no excuse. And one of the most disturbing online dating websites I came across was Diaper Mates.
Oh, no.
Which is for adults that think they're babies. And I just feel like that's crossing the line. I just don't know. I think those people need to actually go to seek help, not love.
I mean, let's catch up. I'll bring the wet wipes.
Sick. So look, Dan and Wendi, they hit it off. Wendi was actually, when they met, was studying law. So again, another super duper uber smart person. These guys were just being super smart together. They got engaged in Israel. This is just the Jewish dream, isn't it? And
not at the moment.
No, it's not at the moment. No, definitely not. But these guys, they were madly in love. It was a real whirlwind romance, and they ended up getting married in 2006 in a lavish 200-person wedding. It's a lot of people.
Ooh, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. So this was a big event. And Wendi is the youngest of 3 siblings. She's got 2 brothers, and she's got her mother and father. Super close-knit family. Wendi's mother, Donna, she was going all out because her baby girl was getting married, and this was, I think, more of a dream for Donna than it was for Wendi to have this wedding. Wendi and Donna planned this day, and Donna really stepped up, took on a lot of the responsibilities. During the wedding, when all the food came out, the food wasn't actually kosher. And Dan was very dedicated in his Jewish faith, and he was kosher. So if you don't know what kosher is, it's basically food that complies with a strict set of dietary rules. People that follow kosher, it's a way of showing reverence to God and feeling connected to their faith. So it is actually super important. But Donna Adelson didn't give a fuck about that, which is absolutely crazy because they're all Jewish. Everyone's Jewish here.
Yeah.
And she just didn't bother to follow that. And the rabbi that was actually there to officiate the wedding, he left because it's that offensive.
Really?
But Dan, being the good man that he was, he went around to all of his friends that were kosher, apologized, was like,
Please don't eat the food. Don't touch it. I'm so sorry. There's been a mistake.
everyone was very forgiving except for the rabbi. And they just went on to party the night away. So, look, not a great start for your mother-in-law.
No.
I mean, isn't that one of the things, like when you're planning a wedding, like dietary requirements kind of come up, especially when it's to do with your faith?
Yeah.
So I feel like it was a bit of a kick in the ball bags from Donna.
It's a giant kick in the sack.
It was a giant kick in the sack. But look, it didn't really ruin the day for Dan and Wendi because these guys were madly in love, and they went on to have 2 boys together. Dan was offered an incredible job, which took them from Miami, this incredible teaching job in Tallahassee, Florida. So it's about a 7-8 hour drive away from Miami. And it was a 10-year contract. So these guys packed up and set up their family life in Tallahassee. On the outside, everything looked great, as it usually does. But on the inside, there were big old cracks forming.
Mm-hmm.
Wendi was deeply unhappy. Wendi had given up her career goals to be a stay-at-home mom. Dan was traveling a lot, working a lot. Wendi was actually writing books at the time as well. She'd authored a couple of novels, and Dan didn't even bother to read them, which did cause a lot of problems. I mean, it's a bit of a dick move, isn't it?
Oh,
Wendi just got to a certain point and she couldn't take it anymore. So when Dan was on a overseas business trip, she called him and said, I'm out of here. I'm done.
yeah.
Dan had no idea this was coming. Just completely blindsided him.
Well, of course, he's probably never home.
That's right. So Dan cuts his business trip short and he rushes home. And when he gets home, he's devastated to find the divorce papers on the bed and everything's packed up. The kids are gone. Wendy's gone. And he's pretty upset. Now, things got nasty between these two.
They always do.
Isn't it crazy? They do. You have this beautiful relationship, marriage, whirlwind romance, and then 6 years down the track, it's friggin' World War III.
You know why?
Why?
Expectations don't get met.
That's right. Expectations.
When you break up, as soon as you drop those expectations and don't give a fuck, there's no problems.
No, is that the key? That's the key to a good marriage?
Yeah, to a good divorce.
To a good divorce. Just don't give a shit. And there you go.
Well, it's expectations. There you go.
Yep. Shireen is an expert in
I'll be starting a new podcast
on divorce.
Fuck expectations.
Right. I think it's got a good ring to it. These guys begin to head down a very messy divorce and custody battle zone, we should call it. This is interesting because they're both lawyers. So you can just imagine that these two are flexing their lawyer muscles. Who's got the bigger muscles? And I think Dan's, yeah. No, you're right. This got really, really messy. Wendi hated Tallahassee.
Ooh.
I mean, she absolutely despised this shithole humid place. Apparently it's pretty humid there. A lot of bugs. I mean, I can relate. Where I live, I feel you, Wendi.
hang on. It's not a shithole. It's just there's bugs.
Oh yeah, I love it on the Gold Coast, but it's very humid and there's a lot of bugs. It makes it very challenging. Wendi wanted to leave. She wanted to move back to Miami where her family was. She wanted to be near her mom and her dad and her brother and back to the beach and the sand and the surf.
Sounds lovely.
It does. And whatever else is in Miami. I'm sure there's a lot more than that. Dan was not having it, and these two battled it out in the courts. Wendi was saying, I'm basically the sole caregiver. Dan is never here. Dan flexed his biceps, flexed his triceps, all of it. And the bigger muscles won.
Of course.
So the judge actually ruled in Dan's favor and said,
Sorry, Wendi, you have to stay here. You guys are going to have 50-50 custody until the youngest son is 18.
which he was 2.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, so Wendi is stuck in Tallahassee. Now, Wendy's family, as I mentioned earlier, super, super close-knit. These guys were like intertwined, which is nice to have a close family, but a little bit in too much, like too much in each other's pockets. Unhealthy. These guys were on the phone all the time. I mean, who would talk on the phone all the time to their siblings? Weird.
I mean, I don't know.
But Donna, Wendy's mom, was sending her all these emails back and forth of how they're going to figure out a way to get Wendi back to Miami. They were even going to pay Dan $1 million for him to move back to Miami because they were going to do week on, week off. So they thought maybe if we pay him $1 million, he can relocate with that money. There's also speculations that they wanted to give him $1 million to piss off. But Dan wasn't having it because Dan loved his children. He wasn't going to be a dad that wasn't in their life, and he didn't really care what these guys said. Donna was talking shit on Dan to the children.
Quite often the angry females will.
They will.
You know.
Bitter, that's right. This actually got back to Dan, and Dan was deeply, deeply upset and affected by this because his children relayed this on to Dan, what the grandmother was saying. So Dan flexed his left bicep and his right bicep and he went to the courts and he basically filed a protective order against Donna and was trying to get only supervised visits for Donna. So,
wow, this is getting nasty.
This is getting nasty. That gives you a little idea of the love story, the messy divorce, the family history. Let's come back to Dan and the day of the shooting. Unfortunately, Dan Markel does not survive his injuries, and 14 hours after the shooting, he is pronounced dead in hospital. So devastating. We'll come back to Wendi in the police interview. They've actually kept her for 5 hours.
Whoa.
And Wendy's being super helpful. She is ready to give up everyone and anyone who could possibly be connected to Dan's shooting.
Danny didn't treat me very well, and I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one, his name is Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. He would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
He asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it was cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Oh, so
that is really super strange.
Very strange. This is like 5 minutes into the conversation. She's talking about her brother and a joke made about a hitman. Very, very strange. Now, I'm not going to subject everybody to listening to this 5-hour interview because it's pretty painful. And we're taken on a real roller coaster. Wendi is up and down, smiles and frowns. Thank you. I made that up on the spot, guys. I'm very clever. She is hysterical crying, and then she's making jokes. She's talking about her blue eyes. She's talking about, she's talking about how she was at the liquor store earlier and people were asking her for her ID. And
how old is she?
I think she's about 35 at that time. She is saying things about her family. She's talking about her mother. She's talking about her ex-boyfriend also. So she has recently separated from another partner. His name is Jeff. And Jeff is also I believe is a lawyer. Actually, he's a forensic psychologist. This is just a big pack of smart people that all hang out over in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
Wendi has implied that Jeff was super jealous and was accusing her of cheating on him. So she has said maybe he was jealous and went and shot Danny. It was kind of weird.
Jealous of their volatile relationship.
Yeah, very, very strange. So she's just accusing everyone at that point. So they bring Jeff in. Where was Jeff?
All right. Mr. Latas, I appreciate you coming in and talking with me here. Like I said, we're still in the preliminary stages of this investigation.
Yeah.
Your name did come up,
of course,
because you were associated at some point with Wendi,
of course,
which is his ex-wife, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just, I appreciate you coming in.
Sure.
I want to ask you some questions, kind of figure out where you were, if you've heard anything, if you have any information that would be helpful to us.
Yeah.
Just kind of run that whole gamut.
I talked to Jane for 5 minutes. I've been out of town.
Okay.
And Wendi and I are estranged at the moment, so it's pretty bad timing in terms of that.
Okay, so...
Can I ask one other question before you get started? Is this...
I'm sorry?
Is this on the record as I give you this statement?
Yeah, it's on the record.
Is there any opportunity to talk off the record, or that's not possible?
No, it's possible.
Okay, we do on the record first, and I have a couple theoretical things that
Sure.
I don't want to be quoted on, but that,
Yeah.
okay. The family is it's important that you know this, actually, man. The family is so unhealthily enmeshed, so completely enmeshed, that Wendi is not really an adult. When she drives to South Florida, every single time those two parents drive up here and drive with her down. They don't trust her to drive from Tallahassee to Miami. It's not a normal family. It's not like she's a 35-year-old woman that has 2 kids and come down to see us. It's complete enmeshment. It's a matter of they didn't infantilize her. She's considered the baby still. She's 35 years old. Charlie protects her.
So Jeff has actually kind of blown up on the internet. They're calling him a bit of a Sherlock Holmes because, as we heard then, he actually wanted to be off the record because immediately he's like, I got some clues and some tips for you guys. Like he feels like he kind of knows what's up. And we're going to come back to Sherlock, Jeff. But for now, let's come back to the investigation. The police are working quickly. They're bringing everybody in. They're asking questions. But there's nothing that's really falling into their lap. It doesn't really make sense. Why would somebody shoot Dan Markel in his driveway? They thought maybe because he's a lawyer. Did he piss somebody off in a trial, in a lawsuit? He was also a law professor, so maybe it was a disgruntled student. Maybe it was a road rage incident. But everything they looked into, it just was dead end after dead end. They start to gather some of the CCTV footage in the area.
Can't do anything, guys.
You
Can't
cannot.
do anything.
Big Brother is watching, guys, and this is in 2014 and it's gotten so much worse. So they look through CCTV footage. They track his day and they start to notice this vehicle that's popping up in every frame that involves Dan Markel's car. And this is a Prius, which matches the description of the car that James, the neighbor, had also said. He said he thought it was a Prius that had reversed down the driveway. And they can see this car heading around the daycare area with Dan. They can see this car in the gym parking lot. They can also see this car on some bus footage as well. It's very grainy footage. We can't see the number plate, but a few things stick out. So this Prius was actually like that minty, sagey green color. It's a bit ugly, to be honest. It's pretty gross.
Sounds gross.
I mean, it's cute. It looks a bit like it's just a bit washed out, but it's quite a specific color. It's not white or black or silver. It's friggin' sage green. Yeah, with a
twist of mint.
With a twist of mint. This vehicle actually has a different color wing mirror. It's got a black wing mirror, so it's obviously had a bit of a dodgy repair. And they also notice what's called a sun pass in the windscreen, like a toll thingy-majiggly. Oh, and Tallahassee doesn't have tolls, so that's kind of weird. So they find out where this Prius was traveling from because of that sun pass.
Ooh, I mean,
yeah, so they've gone through.
Guys.
I know. So they've gone through all the toll records in the area.
It's come from Miami.
They can find this vehicle has traveled from the Miami area on the way to Tallahassee. So they begin to extend their search further for this vehicle. Again, very specific, sage, minty, spewy green with a black wing mirror.
To hire a car, guys.
It was a car hire.
Oh, was it?
Yes. This was a rental car from a car hire company in Miami. So the cops head on down to this rental car and they managed to dig up the paperwork. Might I add, this is almost 2 years after the murder.
Ooh, it's a long time.
This has been going on for a long time. On the rental documents are 2 names, Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera. Now, why on earth would these 2 dudes drive 5, 6, 7 hours all the way to Tallahassee to shoot Dan Markel in his driveway? It turns out that these guys are connected to some gangs, the Latin Kings to be specific.
Wow.
And these guys are just a bit dodgy. They've got some criminal history. They're not people you really want to mess with. But they're not really finding a connection with Dan Markel. So they begin to look into the people that these guys are connected with, and they find that Sigfredo's baby mama / girlfriend on and off again, girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, girlfriend, Katie Magbanua is actually the ex-girlfriend of Charlie Adelson. Charlie Adelson is the brother of Wendi that made that terrible joke.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Charlie Adelson? Who are the Adelsons? Let's go a little deeper. What is going on here? So Charlie Adelson is actually a dentist. His dad is a dentist. And these guys are mega wealthy. They have dental practices all around the area. They have property.
Sounds like all of these guys are smart and rich and wealthy. And
I know, but they're
fucking idiots.
Rich, smart, dumb idiots. This guy's a bit of a character, Rainy. You just have to take one look at him and you can just kind of get the vibe. I reckon you should do a profile analysis. Give us a character reference.
Oh, he's got a very wide neck.
He does, doesn't he?
It looks like he's got no jaw or chin. It just goes all into one. Sorry. Okay. He looks like he would be quite funny. Do you reckon? He looks funny.
Yeah. Well, he made a pretty funny joke about hiring a hitman.
Oh, hilarious. Yeah, I mean, young.
So Charlie is the middle child. He is a bit of a playboy. He loves to party. He loves to, I think, dibble and dabble in the nose beers. He also is pretty wealthy. He gave himself the nickname the Maestro.
The Maestro?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I could Google it, but it just sounds pretty lame to me.
Maestro.
So, yeah, he's a bit of a playboy. He thought he was the big man. And these guys, like I mentioned, wealthy family, I think they just thought they were untouchable. He was very protective of his younger sister. This, again, the family's super intertwined. Donna, Wendi, Charlie, these guys on the phone all the time, getting up in everybody's business.
Intertwined.
The FBI and investigators are doing a pretty intense undercover operation, wiretapping these guys' phones. There is so much audio. I mean, it's got to be longer than Taylor Swift's latest album. It's just never ending. There's so much audio out there. It's ridiculous. So investigators have tapped the phones of Katie, Sigfredo, Charlie. They're trying to get some sort of connection. They also managed to track down Luis Riviera, who is already in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's already in jail for something else. They look into their phone records and it puts them pretty much exactly at the crime scene at the time of the murders. So,
I mean,
it's pretty obvious these are their guys.
Dumb idiots.
Yes. They go to see Lewis. They bring him into the interview room. They sit Lewis down. So,
listen, buddy, you're in prison currently for 12 years.
Oh.
On racketeering charges.
I don't know what that means. And
we know that you were involved in the Dan Markel shooting in 2014, 2 years ago.
And he's denying it. He's just saying,
nope, don't know what you're talking about.
He's being pretty closed off about it. Until they present to Lewis the phone records and the CCTV footage. And the rental documents. They used their real phone numbers and identification to hire the car. I mean, can I just make a point? Like, who's hiring a friggin' mint green Prius with a black wing mirror to go and commit a murder?
They probably thought it was going to blend in with all the other Priuses that are, driving around on Uber. But that one sticks out very bad.
Oh, terrible. So they say to Lewis,
you are going to be facing first-degree murder, possibly facing the death penalty, or you can cooperate and we'll give you 7 extra years.
Sounds like a sweet deal.
Sounds like a sweet, sweet deal. Lewis thinks about it for probably 3.6 seconds and he says,
I'll take it.
Lewis ain't stupid, all right, because he wants to get the F out of prison. Lewis has children. What's an extra 7 years? He's doing 12. It's going to be 19 years. It certainly beats staying in prison for the rest of your life or potentially getting the blue needle. We might have to take that out.
Why? It's true. These murderers deserve it.
They begin chatting to Lewis and he tells the investigators that Sigfredo approached him and told him that he had booked a job.
Booked a gig.
He booked a gig. Yep, and he wanted Lewis to accompany him on this gig and he was going to pay him $35,000 if he just drove with him. Sigfredo showed Lewis a picture of Dan and said that Katie had booked the job. It was a hit on this man because the lady wanted her 2 kids back.
Ooh, we didn't see this one coming, guys.
We didn't see it coming, did we? He goes and basically gave a whole description of the day. They drove the night before, trailed Dan through his morning activities, pulled up the driveway. Sigfredo got out, bang, bang, hopped back in the car, drove back to Miami.
See you later.
So investigators, they arrest Sigfredo. He denies everything, doesn't know what you're talking about, and he didn't have anything to do with it. Investigators go to Katie McBanower, who, remember, is the mother of the 2 children with Sigfredo. So this is like a whole little criminal family right here, these poor little kids.
Mm-hmm.
They offer her a plea deal. They say,
We'll give you full immunity if you cooperate. Like, not even a day in jail.
she says, no, I didn't have anything to do with this. Completely denies knowing anything.
Sounds like a sweet deal again.
So a couple months pass. A few more tracks for the record have been made. They arrest Katie in October of 2016 and charge her with first-degree murder also.
Oh, no. She just should have taken the deal.
She should have taken the deal, but she didn't. So basically, we have got Sigfredo and Lewis are being charged with murder. Lewis has actually pleaded guilty. He's taken his 7 years and he's out of the picture now. Sigfredo's denying it. Katie's denying it. These 2 are set for trial in 2019. So this is going on and on and on. This shooting happened in 2014 and here we are in 2019 and we're going to trial.
Long time.
At this point, there wasn't any police records or anything that was released. There was what was called a probable cause affidavit that had been sealed because investigators didn't want anything let out to the public. They didn't want anyone to know what was going on. And they finally released these documents. A judge ordered for the release of them in 2016, right around the time of Katie's arrest. And this was a big old bombshell because that Adelson family was peppered throughout this bad boy.
Oh.
And Donna Adelson, Wendi Adelson, and Charlie Adelson were all named as co-conspirators.
Oh, that is fucked up.
It's so fucked up. But these guys weren't worried. They lawyered up and they weren't talking to anyone. I'll also add that interview that we heard of in the beginning with Wendi, that was the only time she ever spoke to investigators. So they all got lawyers straight away, pretty much, the Adelson family. They weren't interested in having a chat to the investigators. They were not there to help. So Katie and Sigfredo go to trial. The trial begins in 2019. Sigfredo is found guilty of first-degree murder. He is sentenced to life in prison.
No shit.
But Katie got very lucky because the jury could not reach a unanimous decision.
Wow.
And it was classified a mistrial. It was 10-2. So 2 people, they couldn't get on board basically. And this was very lucky for Katie. So a new trial date was set for April 2020.
Oh.
But COVID happened, didn't it?
Of course. That whole thing.
Oh, my God. So it was actually delayed indefinitely, so just put on hold. She did try to get out of jail so she could wait on the outside until the trial happened, but they said no.
Oh, no.
October 2021, the new trial date is set. It's delayed. February 2022, a new trial date is finally set. It's delayed again.
She's just sitting in jail.
For freaking 3 years.
Well.
No, oh my gosh, no, since 2016.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I mean, silly. She should have just taken that goddamn plea deal.
She should have taken that plea deal.
Yeah.
But look, she's pretty close to getting off. She's already had the 1 mistrial, so if it happens again, that's it. So what had actually happened, going back to all of those recordings and undercover sting operations and wiretappings, there was one particular audio that was super important. And they call it the Dolce Vita recording because it's a cafe. And this is where Charlie Adelson and Katie McBanower, they met. And they had an undercover FBI agent go into the cafe and sit kind of nearby and record the entirety of their catch-up. But the audio was super, super muddled. You couldn't hear anything. But technology advanced over the years, and they had this one guy who was a friggin' audio wizard, almost as good as Mark, our editor. Yeah! And they paused the trial because they wanted to send this audio to this dude for some forensic audio analysis. And he manages to transcribe this catch up. There is actually audio of it online and you can kind of hear it. It's still pretty bad. A lot of it you can't actually understand. The prosecutors wanted to enter this into evidence, so that's why they keep putting this new trial date on hold. And finally, in May, the new trial was set. This audio would give investigators enough evidence to arrest and charge Charlie Adelson with first-degree murder and solicitation. And so they arrested him and put him in jail awaiting trial. And this was shocking. The Adelson family seriously did not see this coming. These guys just thought they were super untouchable.
This is outrageous, honestly.
Oh, it's so good. It gets better. Absolutely outrageous. The maestro's sitting in prison going,
WTF.
Katie goes to trial. She's found guilty of first-degree murder.
Oh.
She's sentenced to life in prison plus 2 consecutive lots of 30 years on top of life.
Oh, wow.
This is so messed up. She was offered immunity if she would cooperate.
You just to cooperate, guys.
And obviously, you know, she lied throughout both trials. She said she wasn't involved. She had all of these reasons for everything. And when they've arrested Charlie, they actually look into the connection between Katie and Charlie. And there are all of these massive lump sum payments that have been made from Charlie to Katie. They've actually come from the Adelson Dental Institute, so from the family business. So they've said that Katie worked for them, but she was getting, you know, $50,000. $10,000. She was given the dad's Lexus, an old Lexus that was in Harvey Adelson's name. At one point, she was offered Charlie's boat.
Wow.
Apparently, Charlie had paid for a boob job. This was a pretty good deal for someone who worked at the dental clinic.
I'd like a job, just quietly.
Yeah. So it did total about $138,000 cash that she received from them.
It's just outrageous.
Oh, it's so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
I shouldn't laugh because it's tragic, but I mean, come on, guys. Come on,
It's
guys.
absolutely outrageous. Charlie is waiting for his trial to begin, and his trial is set for October 23, 2023.
Wow. Oh, my God. Yeah.
This is like 2 minutes ago.
Shit.
I want to just talk a little bit about that audio, the Dolce Vita audio. When the FBI or investigators are doing their undercover operation, there is this one incident where one of the guys is undercover and he goes up to Donna and he hands her an envelope. He's quite intimidating and he says,
You need to look after my boy Tuto the way you've looked after Katie and Tato.
I don't know, tutu, totos, a lot of potatoes going on over here. And gives her this piece of paper, and the envelope is actually what I believe is a article about the Dan Markel murders, and it has a phone number saying you need to call me and we're going to arrange for you to give me some money. So Donna actually calls Charlie, and it's so vague, this conversation, because they're obviously talking in code to each other. And she says, I got some papers today. And Charlie says,
Like, what, are you being sued?
She goes, no. And he goes,
Well, what is it?
and she goes, well, kind of affects me and you. And he's asking,
Okay, what is it? Is someone trying to extort you? Does someone want money?
and she's like, yeah. And just because they obviously know their phone calls are being recorded. Very weird. If some dude came up to me and threatened me, I'd be calling the police, right? So very, very strange.
Yeah.
Charlie actually rings this guy. The guy that's given the envelope to Donna is basically saying, my boy Luis Rivera is in prison. You need to look after his children the way that you've looked after Katie and Sigfredo. That's basically what he's saying. I want $5,000 and you're going to give it to me by tomorrow. So then Charlie's gone and called Katie, and then they've gone to meet up at this Dolce Vita.
Oh, right.
And, yeah. So I'm going to read you some of the audio that's been transcribed in that forensic analysis of the audio. I'm only going to read you a couple of things, but this is essentially what led to the arrest of Charlie Adelson, and this was the piece of evidence that got it across the line to put Katie McBanower in prison for the rest of her life. He's asking her if she knew who this person was that was wanting cash, and Katie's saying, I don't know who it is. Charlie says,
If they had any evidence, we would have already gone to the airport. The problem is, even if they bug your home, nobody is going.
and then it says unintelligible.
Even if they bug your phone, you're still not talking about this to anyone. So my point is, how do you get people to talk? You throw smoke grenades and then you get all of the cockroaches to run out. There's smoke in the house. There's smoke in the house.
So basically he's saying if they had anything, the Adelsons would be gapping it to the airport to get out of there, and that he thinks that this was an undercover operation and that they're just throwing something at these guys to talk. There's quite a lot of transcribed audio there, but it's very incriminating that these two are connected and they're talking about this murder. The trial begins. Katie has changed her tune. She's ready to talk. She tells the prosecution everything. She tells them that Charlie hated Dan and he wanted to be the big man. And he asked Katie, do you know anyone that can hurt somebody? And Katie did, her ex-boyfriend. The deal was Charlie was going to pay these guys a lot of money to drive to Tallahassee, get the job done, come back, nobody would know, wipe the hands clean, everything's fine. No one's going to find out. Super, super simple. The trial continues. It's finally time for Charlie's defense team to take over, and Charlie has a very different story to tell. Charlie actually was being extorted. So he claims that Katie had overheard this conversation about paying Dan $1 million to move to Tallahassee. They claim that this pricked Katie's ears up and she decided to get her ex-boyfriend to drive all the way to Tallahassee to shoot Dan and then come back and say that he had arranged the hit. If they didn't pay him, they were going to go to the cops.
I mean, wow. How long did it take him to make their story up?
I mean, it's pretty outrageous. Remember the joke that he was making? Apparently he'd made that joke a lot about the hiring a hitman. So he was saying that Katie had heard the joke, told it to Sigfredo. This was their master plan. It just seems absolutely outrageous. And look, the jury weren't buying it.
No.
When it came to time to deliberate, they were gone for about 3 hours.
Ooh, it's a bad sign, guys.
Yep. They came back with a guilty first-degree murder. He received a life sentence plus 30 years on top of his life sentence, same as Katie. So these guys, they're never getting out.
What?
He was sentenced in December 2023. Like, this just happened.
You know, they were living the good life.
They were living the friggin' mean life. Real quick, I want to come back to old Sherlock Jeff, because remember he wanted to disclose some things off the record, and this is just so great because he was in there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, and you'd have to tell me what it was, and I would have to say, okay, is this something that can be excluded from the report, or is it something that's inculpatory? Is it something that...
Maybe I can just make it simpler than that. Maybe I can just say, I would be investigating Charlie Adelson.
Okay.
Maybe it's that simple.
What makes you say that?
Very angry about Danny. And if you met, I know he's down there, you can't get him in front of you, but you're, experienced investigator. If you got in front of this guy, he'd set off your radar, set off mine. I used to do juvenile justice, I used to do forensic psychiatry. He set off my radar a little bit. He's a weird guy. Strange guy. He's a conduct disorder kid. And he hates Danny.
They could have just saved themselves, 8, 9, 10 years and just listened to Jeff 12 minutes in and he was giving up the goods. 1 week after Charlie's sentencing, Donna Adelson and her husband Harvey are boarding a plane to Vietnam. They bought one-way tickets to this country that have no extradition back to the US.
Wow.
They got their comfy clothes on. They're heading to the gate. All of a sudden, a swarm of friggin' police officers come in and they arrest Donna Adelson and charge her with the first-degree murder of Dan Markel in front of everyone at the airport.
I mean, this whole goddamn family.
Oh, it's literally crazy, Rainy. This is a very well-to-do woman. Like, she is fancy and rich, and they are absolutely shocked. I've seen the body cam footage, and she and her husband are saying, please don't do this, please don't do this. And it's actually kind of confronting because they're literally stripping her of everything. They're taking all of her rings off, her earrings off, her jewels, and giving them all to the husband. And she's in her 70s. She's quite a frail older woman. They arrest her, do the walk of shame through the whole airport, and she is currently awaiting trial. Set for September this year, probably will be delayed. And the big question is, was Wendi Adelson involved.
Well, I mean, was she? Did she get arrested?
She's yet to be arrested, but the way that this looked, it's like they're arresting each person one by one. They're just taking them down. You know, it was 2016, Sigfredo, Katie and Lewis. We've had Charlie Adelson. Then we've had Donna Adelson. The morning of the murder, there's some really weird things around that morning for Wendi. So she had the TV repair guy coming. Mm-hmm. So that morning, she had blocked off, I think it was 8 till 10 for the TV repairman. She gets a message in the morning from Donna saying, don't forget the TV repairman's coming. Donna's in friggin' Miami.
Yeah.
So what's going on there? They look at phone records and Wendy's actually deleted that message. She's also deleted the calendar input for the TV repairman, which is weird. She's deleted all this before they take her phone the morning of the murder.
Weird.
They can also see there's all these phone calls. So Charlie rings Wendi, Wendi rings Donna, Donna rings Wendi again, Charlie and Wendi talk again for like 20 minutes, and Charlie rings Donna. It's this web of phone calls between all of them the morning of the murder. There's one more thing I want to play to you, Shereen, and then we're gonna wrap this shit up. Okay?
Woo! I mean, this is out of control, guys. Out of control. How many people can possibly get arrested and charged with first-degree murder?
Oh, my God. And I tried to drive up Trescott, and I saw that it was blocked.
It was blocked at some point. I'm not sure what time it was blocked.
And I just thought, there's maybe some trees down or something. Because sometimes
you're saying as you drove down which one of the side roads?
When I'm going to a friend's party tonight, and it's a oh my God, what am I even talking about? I needed to buy, it's a stock the shelf engagement party, and so I went to buy bourbon. Okay. So I went to drive from my place up Trescott to get to ABC Liquor, and it was blocked, so I just turned around. I was on the phone at the time. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. I went down Trescott. Okay. I saw a police car there, and I just thought it was blocked, so I just turned around and drove to, I went down the rest of Centerville, went up Benton across, went to ABC Liquors, bought the bourbon.
I'm a little confused. You're up on Centerville Road. What's your purpose of driving down Trescott?
It's usually the shortcut to get to Monroe.
To get to Monroe?
I usually take it as a cut through to get to Thomasville or Monroe.
Okay.
She has just placed herself at the crime scene the morning of the murder. She goes on to say she was using it as a shortcut, but it actually wasn't a shortcut at all. And I don't know about you, but if I drove past my old street where my ex-husband lived and my children were staying, and it was completely taped off, blocked off with crime scene tape, apparently where the tape was, you'd be able to see the house. Would you not call?
Yes, you would definitely call. Absolutely.
There's just lots of little things like that. There was also an incident where, this is hilarious. This is the last thing I'll say because there's just too many layers. But Donna Adelson had accepted something like 80 phone calls from Charlie from prison, and they were all recorded. It even says that these phone calls are recorded. And in these recorded phone calls, she's talking about getting everything in order, talking about countries that don't have extradition, talking about suicide. At one point, she's on hold and doesn't realize that the phone is actually recording her. And she's reading out messages, the responses that she's saying to Wendi. And she's said in the message, everything we've ever done is to protect you. You've got a lot to think about. So to me, that implies that she probably knew, right? I don't know. This is all speculation, but I would not be surprised if we see Wendi get arrested next, because she was listed as a co-conspirator. And the prosecution have said, because they've asked, are you looking at anyone else? Should anyone be worried? And they've said, everyone should be worried. So, friends, that brings us to the current day when finally Donna Adelson's trial would begin. And Rainy, you've been doing some homework and you have an ending for us.
I have got a juicy, juicy ending. So we know Donna was arrested. And in August 2025, just the other day, her trial would go ahead. She is charged with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, solicitation to commit murder. I mean, this bird is screwed.
She's going down. It's not good, is it?
It's not good. So the prosecution would paint her to be this controlling matriarch of the family, and she viewed Dan as the biggest obstacle that got in the way of her and her family.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecution would go as far as saying she was, in fact, the mastermind of the whole thing. Can you believe?
Could you imagine if our mum did that?
I know, right? Old grandmama trying to plot to murder.
It's full on. I mean, it's very flattering, but it's a bit much.
It is, but evidence would be overwhelming. You see, the financial records showed that Donna signed off 44 of those paychecks from the dental surgery to Catherine what's the last name? McBenui. 44 paychecks to Catherine, even though we already know she never worked there. I mean, what a catch.
What a catch. What a great job.
I wish my dental surgery would give me those paychecks. I'm just giving them paychecks.
You are, actually.
Also, Dan's car registration was written down in her 2014 daily planner. Like, what for?
Oh, car rego.
Why are his car
license plate.
details? Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Colour, make, model, all the details.
Whoa, I didn't know that.
And as we know, that little bump operation of that undercover policeman that bumped into her in the street gave her that newspaper and that $5,000 check, which she quickly went and rang Charlie to talk about. Well, the prosecution are labelling this as a confession. Now, let's talk about these jailhouse snitches, Lollie, because when Donna was sitting in prison, she made some friends, probably with some old grannies herself. She actually confessed to some of these friends that she did indeed do it.
Did she?
All she wanted was her grandkids, and she never expected it to go this far.
Oh, Donna, you can't.
And you best believe these snitches would take the stand. I think if you're in prison, you should just keep quiet until you've had some sort of verdict.
I know. How many times we hear this?
It's outrageous. Now, the defense attorney, of course, would disagree. They are portraying Donna as a meddler and not a murderer. They were stating that she was just a simple interfering mother. And that trip to Vietnam, well, that was a trip to escape the media.
Just to escape, all right?
Well, to be fair, it was only a week after Charlie's sentencing.
Yeah, well, but they don't take me as the type that like to holiday in Vietnam.
No, you're right. So that and amongst a million other things, but we don't have time to list it all, the jury would deliberate. And Lollie, they would deliberate for 3 hours. And we all know what that means. They would come back with a guilty verdict. And poor Donna Adelson would sit there and gasp, ah!
I know. I did.
It's actually quite sad to watch. I was like, oh, no.
Because you're like, oh, Mum.
Oh, Nana.
But also, oh, Nana, why?
And she is crying. She cannot believe it. The judge would excuse the jury and would allow Donna to have a 2-minute break. When everyone came back, he did say, look, I know this is upsetting for you, but if this happens again, you will be removed from court. I mean, no heart.
Well, she didn't have a heart.
No, she didn't. She's old. She's 75 and she looks old.
She doesn't look good. And, they're so wealthy and she's going to jail for the rest of her life, which could only be a few years now. But you can't be killing people.
It's ridiculous. She's had this amazing life and obviously all this wealth and now she's going to rot away in jail. Like that's where it ends.
Too entitled though, Just thought you're untouchable.
Oh, I know. So that is that with Donna. And then Wendi. What's happening to Wendi?
What is happening to Wendi?
Wendi did receive a derivative use immunity for her testimony. Now, this means that anything that she does say on the stand cannot be used against her. Not then, not ever. Not in the future, ever.
Wow.
She's also estranged from her mother, basically the day she was arrested.
Ooh.
As for Harvey, Donna's husband, there is no direct evidence that is linking him to anything. So these two, they are off for now. But the prosecution has said, keep your eyes peeled because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Whoa!
And there could be future charges.
We might have to do a revamp ×3.
This is maybe one of the juiciest cases we've ever done.
It's bonkers, eh?
5 people arrested, charged for murder, and one of them got offered immunity. I mean, come on.
I know. It's wild. So, Rainy, I guess that leads us back to the question once again, can you handle this crime and scandal?
Do you know what, Lollie? I actually can.
Wow, really?
I mean, obviously we don't like that Dan has been murdered, but I mean, come on. These guys are so dumb.
It is the stupidity that gets you.
From the mint Prius with the different colour wing mirror, immunity deals, it's just outrageous. And I can handle this crime and scandal. So, Lollie, can you handle this crime and scandal?
Look, I get where you're coming from because it's so juicy and you're like, Mama Bear's coming. She's like, I know what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take him out. But you can't be taking people out.
No.
It's very terrible and I can't handle the crime and scandal.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, Lollie, Dan's had the last laugh somewhere out there.
Possibly. I mean, I wouldn't say he's laughing, but it's not ending well for the Adelsons. It is quite
bad.
It's quite bad. Well, look, guys, I hope you enjoyed that revamp. You probably don't remember that story because it was so long ago, but we are coming to the end of the year. Christmas is just around the corner. We're coming to you with our final episode of the year.
Episode 99.
That means we'll be coming in strong with episode 100 for 2026. We just wish you guys a wonderful week of Christmas shopping. Be kind to one another.
Be safe.
If there's any awkward custody deals going on out there, I don't know, just enjoy the free time, You can save money on a babysitter. Just can't be fun.
That's right. Don't be getting any ideas, Grandma. All right?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll see you in a minute, loves.
All right, sounds good. All right. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.